I like it because it's the real deal.
Real deal.
No poser stuff here, right?
Real cars, real guys, and real talk. Live from the gearbox at Unique Classic Cars. Welcome to Motorhood. Does putting badging on a vehicle make you a poser?
Not as much as going to a country concert, turning into a cowboy for one night, boots and hat and a big old belt buckle, and you wear on clouds and a satchel during the day.
All too familiar with all of that. And I'm not kidding. And you're right. That drives me absolutely nuts.
I took my daughter to a concert, Zach Bryan. It was at US Bank Stadium, right? Huge stadium.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there were 75,000 cowboys in the country, let alone in Minnesota.
Doesn't that drive you crazy?
I'm like, stop it.
It drives me absolutely nuts. And by the way, I'm a Zach Bryan fan. I think
yeah.
Great songwriter, but you see, specifically with country music, when they shifted towards that more pop format, you saw all these guys come out of the woodwork, and now all of a sudden everybody's from the country.
Actually, now, I don't know how the hell we got started on this. I guess I brought it up, but my daughter also went with her friends here a month or so ago to see Gavin Adcock. Now, this guy he goes up there and he does it without his shirt on. I don't know, I don't know if he's 20-something, maybe 30. The girls go nuts, and he's the youngest dude with a dad bod I've ever seen.
No kidding.
And I'm like, why are the girls going nuts over this guy? I'm like,
it's crazy how out of touch I've become with a lot of those new artists.
Yeah, I wouldn't be if it weren't for my daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift. And to me, it's like, can we go see the Doobie Brothers, right?
Yeah, right.
But we're going to talk about some cool cars today, man. Pontiac, and speaking of not being a poser, we're going to start with a very authentic car.
She's the real deal, man.
It is a real deal 1977 Trans Am.
Right.
And it is amazing. And a lot of people will remember that car because that was the car in Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes.
And it is beautiful. So we'll take a look at that. We've got a GTO parked right outside. We've also got a LeMans. Again, I like LeMans. I do. You don't have to put the GTO badging on there.
Yeah.
I mean, we could get into a fight about this with guys online. If you were live, I guarantee you that would...
they'd chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah, well, they weigh in. And again, I don't have a problem with putting badging on a car if that's what you want to do.
Yep.
My personal preference is, if that's not what the car is, I don't want to portray it as anything else.
Okay, so here's a question. Your daily driver is some Volkswagen, right?
It's an Atlas, yeah.
Okay, have you put Porsche badges on it?
No, I have not. that is not...
we need to... Oh, I'm so going to prank you. I think I'm going to do that. We're going to get some Porsche badges.
I would love that. I would love that.
Well, see, you can't. You just got done saying you don't like a poser.
Yeah, if it was a legit Porsche, I'd probably be happy. But we've got some... Like I said, we'll take a look at that Trans Am, GTO, LeMans, and believe it or not, a Tempest.
Let's get it.
A Tempest. Let's head downstairs, man.
All right, man, I got to ask, what do you got cooking? You asked me to drive this in today. What's the, what do you got going, man?
I think when you're talking Pontiacs in the 60s and 70s, this car stands out for a lot of different reasons. It's a 77 Pontiac Trans Am. What was the reason that you wanted to buy this car?
Well, the cliche answer, of course, is because of the movie, right?
Sure, Smokey and the Bandit.
And it just oozes cool. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, which I am.
Right.
And I literally had a poster of this car hanging on my wall growing up as a teenager and all of that kind of thing. And I know I wasn't the only one.
No.
You know? So, pretty neat story with this car. I'm the second owner of it. I got a phone call. It was a lady that she wanted an appraisal on it because her husband had passed, and it was his baby. He ordered it brand new. And anyways, we went and appraised it, and then long story short, after a few conversations, she allowed me to purchase it. It was literally a privilege to get it because when I bought it, it had 49,000 actual miles, and every bit of paperwork, the window sticker, the order sheet, the canceled check, the I mean, everything.
And this car is all original.
Yeah.
And in Smoking the Bandit, that was actually a 76 that they put a 77 front end
Yeah,
on.
because the 77s hadn't been started into full production yet, so the car was actually a 76 with the 77 treatment on it.
Let's take a quick look under the hood.
So few geeky facts on these. So if you ordered this car with an automatic, you've got so if you read on the shaker, it's a 6.6 liter, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you got it with an automatic, which this car is, it's actually a 403 Oldsmobile engine that's in here. And if you ordered a manual transmission, then you got the 400 cubic inch Pontiac motor. So depending upon which transmission you ordered, it depended on which 6.6 you got.
I did not know that.
So that's one kind of goofy thing. But yeah, this car he loaded it up. It's got factory cruise control, power steering, factory air. And on the window sticker, the code for these is a Y82 for a T-top car like this. The Y82 was the Bandit edition, and this car's got all of the specs and everything to go with it. So a couple interesting facts, George. I don't know if you know this actually. The T-tops on this car and on any 77, General Motors wasn't putting T-tops in cars yet. So they would, if you ordered a car with T-tops back then, you would get a hardtop Trans Am. They sent this car out to Hurst, H-U-R-S-T, and Hurst, they would send the cars to Hurst. Hurst would cut the roof and install the T-tops and send it back to Pontiac, and then it would get sent out to the dealer. So these are called Hurst hatches. Yeah. As you can see, it's a little bit short. So if you go 70, if you're looking at a 79 Trans Am, let's say, that would be a factory GM T-top. The T-top is bigger. It would be out to about here. And it's a little bit wider this way too, a factory T-top. So the Hurst hatches were just a hair smaller.
As soon as you pulled those off when we came out here this morning, I was like, it took me right back to the movie.
Oh yeah,
literally right back to the movie. I was like, "Where's Sally Field?"
Yeah,
right.
Do you want to be Frog? You want to be Frog?
So the CV radio.
Yeah. The gentleman that had it, he put that in right away. It still works. It's got it's got PA mode, and of course you can see the stub for the antennas there. The big red whip is still in the trunk. Right. So if we literally want to go eastbound and down, we can, man.
8-track player as well.
8-track player, and of course you got to see what I got in there.
Johnny Cash. That does not surprise me at all, and it's fitting.
And it's period correct. It's 70s Johnny. It's not 50s Johnny. In the back we've got, I think there's an old Aerosmith tape and a few other ones. You gotta have your tunes match the era of the car.
Do.
I mean, you can't half-ass it that way. So
the interior here, is that all original?
Yeah, the interior is 100% original. The fabric, everything, because this is an unrestored car.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable condition.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty,
she just had it.
And her husband had passed, and I think they had 2 daughters. They had all the great memories, but they really weren't car people, didn't really want to or know how to take care of it beyond that, so they did let it go. And fortunately for me, I was kind of right place, right time, and yeah, this one, it's fun to have, that's for sure.
Prior to starting here, I was more of a Camaro guy. I've brought that up, but working through even the early 70s, I've become more of a Trans Am fan.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
They're just like, there's something special about that car.
Yeah.
I love the original nature of the interior. Whenever I see that, I'm like, wow. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Right.
The one thing with this one that I've had friends that have ridden with me is the thing is actually comfortable. I mean, this was a sports car, is a sports car, but the seats are comfortable. This one, it doesn't squeak and rattle and all that kind of stuff. It's literally a pleasure to drive.
I like it because it's the real deal.
Real deal.
No poser stuff here, right?
What do you know about posers?
Well, I'm telling you, I have an appreciation for guys that add badging and try to make it look like another car.
Do you though?
It's not me. It's not me. I just would not drive a car because I think cars originally, we're going to go inside and take a look at a LeMans. We're going to take a look at a Firebird and a Tempest, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
And we'll look at some examples of cars that have been modified to look like other cars.
Right. So what do you think of that GTO then?
Well, let's just real quick take a look at it. This is a legit GTO. I even think this is numbers matching.
I think so, yeah.
It is, right?
It's a real GTO, but what isn't it?
It's not a judge.
Right.
And we hear that all the time. If guys are looking for the judge,
yep,
you know, they want that. So when we list these, with full disclosure, we tell people it is not a judge.
Correct.
But again, to me, if it's not a judge, I don't want, it's what I feel. I don't care what other people perceive it as, because the GTO by itself is a nice car.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need to put that on.
So you don't want to be an imposter?
No, I'm not an imposter. I am not a poser. But we're going to go look at some really nice resto mods in here.
Then why are you being such an imposter about all your suspensioning and handling bullshit? All right, so this is the other one you were talking about, right? So let's talk about what it isn't.
Right.
It's not a GTO.
It is not a GTO.
It's not a judge, and it isn't trying to be.
No, well, it is actually trying to be a GTO.
A little bit.
A little bit.
No badges, though.
So this hood, right? The hood is an ad, obviously, the badge on the front grille here.
Okay.
And the spoiler on the back.
Right. But that's a good look. You can't be mad at that, are you?
It is a good look, but I think if you were to remove all that and keep the car original, I think it was a nice car. You don't have anything to be ashamed of if you're driving a 71 Pontiac LeMans Sport convertible.
Right, and it's a sport, so you've got the bucket seats, you got the console shifter, still sporty, you know, literally in its name.
I did not know that you could get this car with 3 on the tree.
Right.
Yeah.
This one is not.
It is not. This one has the automatic transmission.
Yeah.
But that was something that was a staple with these cars early before they transitioned away. But again, the car by itself, without the spoiler, without the hood, without any of that badging, very nice. Let's take
it's good.
Quick look.
And what do you got under the hood on this one? Pontiac blue.
Pontiac blue. Love it. Look at how clean that is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, done very well.
Yes.
So I think, again, this stuff here, I don't understand it. I know some guys do, but I think the car is great just the way it is. It's a LeMans. Don't try to sell it as anything else.
I have another pop quiz for you. Just in looking at the engine here, I see the previous owner, cameraman, if you want to look. Anybody, you guys know why this stuff is on here?
No, I don't.
On this line right here?
It looks like some kind of insulation.
Yeah, a lot of guys will do that to try to prevent vapor lock, meaning they don't want the fuel in the line to get too hot. So that's like an insulation on the, you know, now they've got a rubber fuel line there. A lot of guys prefer a steel line, but you know, whichever. But that's what that's on there for, is to try to insulate that so that the gas in the line doesn't get too hot on its way over the top of the motor.
So with modern technology, they've created those with a little bit better material, correct?
Well, right, but obviously you don't have to worry about it when there's not a carburetor either.
Right, so. right, yeah. But again, this is another example of a car, to me, that's just fine just the way it is, but hey, you go. Now, if you want a resto mod, and you want to do it right, let's take a look at this 67 Firebird.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job on this one. I love it that other than the wheels obviously are aftermarket, but the rest of it is stock, sleeper looking, just slick. It's just, they did a great job with it. The color is you know, yes, it's green, but it's a nice kind of a smoky almost green.
One thing I noticed right away when I looked at the seats in here, those are out of a 99 Trans Am.
Yeah, those aren't factory.
No.
At least not in 67.
Fantastic. And I think the drivetrain is a 99 Trans Am as well.
Yeah, I think motor and transmission both.
Yeah, let's look.
So that'd be an LS1.
Look at that.
Look at the nice touches. They painted the valve covers and some of the drive components. They painted body color just to make it a little custom. A couple of nice touches. This car hasn't been detailed yet. As you can see, it's a little dusty, but our guys in the detail department will get that cleaned up nice and easy.
Let me ask you this, personal opinion here. Do you have a problem with an LS swap?
I don't have a problem with it in a quote-unquote regular car.
Right.
What bothers me is if someone takes a special low production car and does this stuff to it, I don't like it.
Right.
That bugs me because I do typically lean more towards purist.
Yeah.
You know, that like if somebody took a real Ram Air 3 69 Trans Am, a real one.
Right.
And then they stuffed a used LS in it, that would piss me off.
It comes down to performance. I was talking with the techs back in the shop the other day, and they said the bottom line is an LS will run circles around a small block 350. That's just the way it is. I mean, as far as performance. This car is E85 only.
That's right.
What is the deal with that?
Well, a lot of guys will set these up, can run them on E85. So that's what's crazy. You know, normally when you got a car like this, a lot of it, including me, you burn premium in them because you want, you know, the best gas. You don't want the ethanol and that kind of thing on the old motors. But with the new ones, a little bit of a tune and bang, you're on E85 and you still got all the performance and the economy as well.
So there's no lag in performance with that?
Nope.
Wow.
Very little, if any.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
But I think this is an example of a restoration, modification, well, pro touring, right?
Yeah,
with the heavier mods.
Yeah, and there's suspension tweaks in this car. Of course, under the skin you can't see. There's tubular A-arms and Willwood brakes and things like that too. So they did a good job. It's not just throw a motor in it and go. There's way more to it under the skin than what meets the eye.
What's not to love? No, I'm telling you, that year too, 67 to me, the body style is still there, right?
Oh. So do you remember a few episodes back we were looking at a Camaro maybe, I think. How can you tell a 67 from a 68, 69 just by looking at it? Without the big green stickers on the window. Aha!
The wing windows.
67 only. Still had the vent windows. After 68 and forward, it was one big solid piece of glass. So there you go. Good job.
That is a beautiful. See, I do listen to what you say.
That's impressive.
Maybe a few of these other guys could learn from me and be like, absorb a little. This is an interesting car up here. When this came in initially, I couldn't even figure out what it was, other than being a Pontiac. And again, what do? I walk behind that wall back over there, and I talk to those guys.
So what do you think? So this one, right away now, Mr. I don't like clones. What about the hood?
GTO hood and a spoiler on the back
hood
as well. So
got the big wing.
This is an interesting car because when it was developed in '61, when that first year, if you look at those cars, they looked a lot like the old Chevelles. Right, that same body style and stuff.
Yeah, kind of.
I looked at this initially and I'm like, oh, well, what the hell is it? And it's a Tempest, which is the absolute base model, even below LeMans.
Yes.
Right? And so the car has, oddly enough,
besides a box of hubcaps.
Besides a box of hubcaps.
What else does it have, George?
In here. It's got 3 on the tree, and we had talked about that. That was actually available in that LeMans as well.
That's 3 on the tree.
Aftermarket air conditioning. You can see when people ask us about that all the time, they're like, oh, can I get AC in that car? It often looks a lot like that, right? And they work great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they work like normal. And if you look, you look at the door panels, the seat patterns and everything, you know, you can tell that it's a base model. There's not as much flash. There's not as much design.
Right.
Doesn't make it bad. It's just different.
Right.
And but overall, you've still got that classic GM A-body muscle car look.
Right.
And that's what ultimately all that matters.
Because this originally had that Y-body, right, which was that just very different. I think this is when, and I was having this discussion with Wyatt the other day, one of our techs. I was like, I feel like in the early 60s, the automotive industry really found their own look. You know, there was all that aviation inspired with the big fins and stuff in the late 50s, but they really found their own look and then they took off. It's
absolutely.
So I think this is a really nice car, but again, do you have to have the GTO hood and the spoiler?
Just a couple of touches.
Right.
You know, I get it. So this is a 350 Pontiac in here, I imagine?
This is the 350,
Power steering, as you mentioned, it's got dealer installed air conditioning from back in the day. And this one just came in too, so again, apologize if she's a little dusty yet, but
this is a really nice car.
Yeah, it is a nice car, and the nice thing is it's in the land of muscle cars, it's very affordable.
Right.
Compared to some of the other ones that are out there.
Right, and it kind of found itself a place, right?
Yeah.
But again, the spoiler, I think, and the hood's dead giveaway. But to the average guy, if you were just driving, you could probably fool them if we were just passing them in traffic, right?
You know, I was just thinking, this car behind me just came in. I think this should serve as a teaser. I think next episode, we talk wagons. I'm just going to throw that out there. We got a couple of cool wagons here right now.
There is a cult following. We have a 60.
Don't tell anybody.
Okay, I know. But this Dodge Cornet behind us.
Yes.
Very cool
Let's
car.
do wagons.
And guys do crazy stuff with them.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get back upstairs and get our
by the
rest
way,
of the show on.
What is going? You're leading on the geared over.
Yeah.
Up 2-0.
You know who's surprised about that?
Who?
Nobody.
Nobody. That's right.
All right, so out of all those cars that we just looked at,
You don't even have to ask that question.
which one do you hate the most? I got you.
I don't hate any of them, but again, I'm all about original, and I'm gravitating that way. And that 77 Trans Am. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? And you get the feel, the look is there, and you're not trying to portray it as anything that it isn't. Like I said, I have a great appreciation for all the different makes and models. You can leave it just the way it is.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And I think that's where we're at. So the Tempest was pretty cool. I have to admit, I had not seen one. Again, the spoiler on there, the hood. But the 3 on the tree thing just really does it for me.
Have you ever driven a 3 on the tree?
Yeah, I have. Actually, it was, I believe, a 77 Plymouth Duster.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my first.
Probably with a slant 6.
It was. It was. I had an Aspen that had that slant 6 in it as well.
Yep.
That motor actually ran like it was just, like there was no end. So, but yeah, I would lean towards the more original makes. Unless you're going to do heavy modifications like that Pro Touring on that 67 Firebird. I completely get that, right?
Yeah, that car doesn't bother me that they did that. It's a good ride.
I'm not trying to portray it as anything that it's not.
Right.
It's just been modified.
Yep.
And I don't have a problem with the LS swap as well. Is it time for geared over? This would be game 3. I'm losing 2-0.
You know who's surprised by that?
Nobody. Just like you said down on the floor. But if this was a 7-game series, I'm 2 games away from elimination here.
That's true.
Or if it was 5, it could be right here, right now. Right? So.
Speaking of 7-game elimination, don't get me started on the Wild. But but anyways, back to geared over.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're back. Episode 3 of Geared Over. I've got the dice, got the cards ready. We're about to roll, see what cards I get. Could be good, could be bad, could just be really bad, but there's only one way to find out. Let's get to rolling. The dies have been cast, cards have been set out. I'll give them a moment to see what exactly their new boons are, because obviously this is only game 3. They've only seen them a couple of times, so just grabbing a random one right off the top.
Come in with that random car question to finish the last game.
And because this card actually has more than 12 questions, I always ask the loser, would you like the left or the right?
Left.
Okay. Question 1. Butterfly, bonnet, gable, hip, and salt box are all shapes of what part of a building?
Jeremy. Roof.
That is correct. 1 point.
Oh my God!
Off to a strong start.
I can't believe it.
Next up, who composed the music for the opera Porgy and Bess?
You all shit my pants before I answer that question. I have no idea. I just honestly.
Fair enough. The correct answer was George Gershwin.
Okay. Oh, I like a good Gershwin tune.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. Remember, boons can be used whenever.
Right.
Just got to say it.
I know. I'm sandbagging here.
Okay. What is the parent company of Google?
I can't believe that. I don't know that.
Oh, my gosh.
If anybody invests in stocks, you probably know what this is. Yes.
Microsoft? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Correct answer was Alphabet.
I have no idea.
Never heard that.
Never.
What item of furniture is IKEA's classic Billy, which launched in 1979?
Jeremy.
Yes.
Dresser.
No.
I have no idea.
Correct answer is bookcase.
Bookcase.
All right, coming into question 5.
All right.
Both players have 2 boons on the table. Which 1992 dramedy, directed by Penny Marshall, was based on the story of the real Rockford Peaches women's baseball team?
Jeremy.
Yes.
Do I get
Field of Their Own.
A League of Their Own?
A League of Their Own is correct.
Shoot.
So I actually got. I have
You almost ran
one.
out of time, too.
Better put your tick mark on there.
1 point for Jorge.
Boone.
Oh!
All right.
What is your effed? This card, you are about to get Trebek'd.
Oh, no.
The opponent must answer each question in the form of a question, otherwise you lose the point. Lasts till the end of the game.
I know how to do this.
Okay, you understand that, George?
I do get it. I've watched Jeopardy.
And if I miss it, you damn near, you know, he'll pay attention.
He'll never miss it.
He'll pay attention. And just to clarify for the viewers, that means if he does get it right but doesn't answer it in the form of a question, he just does not get the point. Next question. Which Italian flatbread has a name that means slipper?
Jeremy.
Yes.
Focaccia.
No.
Ah.
Correct answer is ciabatta.
Son of a... Okay. Next.
All right, next question. What famous mountain peak is the highest located between Nepal and Tibet? Boys.
What is...
You gotta say your name.
Oh, George.
There you go.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, honestly, that one evades me.
And 5, 4, 3.
What is Everest?
It's too long. But yeah, Everest was right.
Everest. I was going to say that, but then I was...
Okay.
Boone!
Okay.
You ready for this?
No.
Opponent has to roll and stack 3 matching dice before answering the next question.
Roll and stack? What does that mean?
That means you got to roll a dice, and they all have to be the same number. And then once they're the same number...
So when you read the question, he begins, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Next question. Go ahead. Which object, often including the alphabet, demonstrated a young girl's needlework skills in the 18th and early 19th centuries? And that's time.
Okay.
Correct answer was sampler.
That's it, right?
No, it keeps going. You haven't done it yet. Next question. What is the flat bone connected to the ribs, sometimes referred to as the breastbone?
George.
Jeremy.
What is the sternum?
Very good, George. Point for you. Next question. What word means to renounce a throne and also fail to fulfill a responsibility or duty?
You said duty.
Duty, it rhymes with booty.
I have 3 matching.
You have to stack them. Do you not remember? Yeah, you're supposed to stack them as you did it, but you don't listen to directions very well, so that's your fault. Whatever.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, and I'm assuming you don't either?
Nope.
Correct answer was abdicate. Word of the day?
Abdicate.
Abdicate.
Nope. Wow. Okay.
That was question 10, just so you guys know. We've been
So
flying
we have
through
2
these.
left?
Yeah. Okay, question 11. What was the first book in Laura Ingalls Wilder Little House series?
Couldn't tell you.
My wife would know this answer, but I do not.
Now, I'm assuming, producer, I'm assuming it's referring to Little House on the Prairie, which it was, but not that. The correct answer was Little House in the Big Woods. That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
All right, and the final one. Last question. What one-word title is shared by both of the highest charting singles by Van Halen and Crisscross?
Jeremy.
Yes.
Jump.
Jump is correct.
That's it.
That's
tie.
it.
It's a tie. We have 2 apiece.
You know what
Sudden
tiebreaker
death.
means?
So here we are, back to sudden death again.
All right, this time I am, again,
here
random question.
comes something about a 77
No,
Pontiac Trans Am.
All right, ready? All right, I'm going to do this one behind my back so George doesn't think I'm bullshmitting anymore. All right, I'm pointing at one right here. Okay, here we go. In which country was Ferdinand Marcos the president from 1965 to 1986?
What is the Philippines?
That's correct.
I actually won a game!
Congratulations.
How much did you pay him to pull that one for you? I mean, really, you're a military guy, you're worldly, and you pull out the Philippines out of your ass. This is rigged. You totally had him pull that. Go figure. Weird.
Oh, come on.
I did that with mine.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
All right.
I cannot.
You know what's more important?
What's that?
We have the roll-in finally this Saturday. It's coming in, and it's coming in hot. It's going to be hot, literally. It's going to be nice. We got a crap load of cars coming, food, live music, the whole bit,
80
man.
and sunshine.
I know.
80 and sunshine. This is as good as it gets because you never know what you're getting in this part of the country this time of year, right?
Yes.
But our roll-ins are not just average roll-ins. There's live music, there is food, and there is a whole lot of cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'd love to see you, man.
If you're not there, you're totally square.
That is the most dad quote I have ever heard from you.
Don't be a square.
So, if you're thinking about coming, don't think. Because what do we say? When in doubt,
gas
just
it.
gas it. Could you repeat the question?
We'll wait for the car to stop. We'll wait. We like to drive Mustangs slow in here, so it's okay. We'll be a little bit. Jesus Christ, he's going like 1 foot per second. Woo, speed demon.